Hello everyone, and welcome to the Narcissistic Abuse Recovery Care Network. I'm Dean, the host of the N.A.R.C.N Network and channel, and also the host of the Unmasking the Narcissist channel. Today I'm going to be presenting to you episode 183 on the N.A.R.C.N Network, and the title of episode 183 is Why It Cannot Work Out with the Narcissist. Now, in this episode, we're going to be talking just about what the title basically says, why it cannot work out with the narcissist. But we're also going to be discussing one or two instances of when it can actually function with a narcissist. But in the confines of the functionality of being in a relationship with a narcissist, there are specific things that we need to make, or specific points that we need to make, as to what allows this to be the case that you may be able to function in a relationship with a narcissist. But one of the things that's always universal in that instance with the narcissist is the narcissist is aware of what they are aware that they have issues, and they are currently seeking some type of professional assistance with getting control of that narcissistic abuse type thing that they have going on with themselves. This is the only instance under which anybody can actually deal with a narcissist, is if they are actively trying to seek or get control of their disorder so that their disorder does not affect people around them in negative ways. There are many instances of this on the internet where a narcissist is engaging with a person that they're involved in a romantic relationship with, or a married wife, or a married husband, and they are currently aware that they are a narcissist. They are seeking treatment, or they are actively trying to control their narcissism. One of the best examples of this is Professor Sam Vaknin, who is probably one of the most preeminent experts in narcissism. He is a narcissist himself, and he is married. His wife is completely aware of how he is, and he actively tries to control his narcissism so that it does not affect others in adverse ways. But his wife is completely aware of what he is. She helps him every day with his narcissistic issues, and she remains his partner to this day and has been with him for quite a number of years. And she works her way through her relationship with her husband, who is a narcissist, in the best way that she can, because he is actively trying to keep control of his narcissistic attributes so that they do not affect others in adverse ways. However, when we go back to the other example here of why it cannot work out with a narcissist in this instance, well, if you have a narcissist in your life, in a romantic sense or in any other sense here, if that narcissist is not willing to admit that they have narcissism, and you can truly see the attributes of a narcissist are actually there, you can determine that this person is indeed a narcissist. They are exhibiting all these narcissistic attributes or tendencies. They are clearly they're clearly a narcissist. In other words, basically, there's no doubt here that you're dealing with somebody of this nature, because they demonstrate all of the defining characteristics. Yet they themselves cannot admit that they may be a narcissist. You're not going to be able to make whatever type of relationship you have with that narcissist work. Now, the large-scale advice that most narcissistic experts give on the internet is, if you're dealing with a narcissist, even if you're married to them, but if you're maybe in a less serious type of relationship with them or whatever, and you are now aware that you're dealing with a narcissist, get rid of them. That person has to go. You need to get that person out of your life, because they're going to cause nothing but chaos in your life. And if they're not aware that they're a narcissist, or they are aware but they're not going to admit that they are a narcissist, because one of the things that goes on here with narcissistic individuals, this is even true of narcissists I have around me that I may still be in contact with. They may not be aware that they're narcissists, or perhaps they are aware that they're narcissists, but they are not willing to admit what they are. They guise this under the under the call letters of, oh, I have bipolar disorder, or I have borderline disorder, or I have other things going on with me. Well, yes, these individuals that I know, they do have bipolar disorder, or they're borderline, or they have antisocial personality disorder, or whatever it is that's occurring with them. But as we know from studying the science of narcissism, especially the modern science going on and the modern research going on, a lot of narcissistic research right now is being based around the factor that experts over the years have started to conclude that when you have bipolar disorder, you also have narcissistic personality disorder. It's just a different form of it. If you have ASPD, you also have narcissistic personality disorder. Again, it's just a different form of it. All these disorders encompass some form of narcissistic personality disorder. So you are indeed a narcissist. This goes for ASPD, bipolar disorder, borderline disorder, conductivity disorder. They're all related in this particular thing. They are all related, and if you look them up and you look up the modern science of this, modern medicine is coming to determine, modern psychology medicine is coming to determine that all of these disorders are interrelated with narcissistic personality disorder, and they truly are just opposing different forms with reasonable overlap between the disorders in different levels. But they do indeed share attributes. Sometimes it's a few, sometimes it's a lot, with narcissistic personality disorder. And these things are becoming more and more clear to modern medicine as we go here. But again, if you have a person who is, you clearly see has narcissistic personality disorder, as I can see narcissistic personality disorder in the individuals that I am aware of or that I have had experiences with, who may themselves say that they don't have narcissistic personality disorder, but are self-admittedly bipolar or borderline. In this instance, they do indeed have narcissistic personality disorder. This is part of the schemas of their disorder, because they're all related in this way, in some way. But because having narcissistic personality disorder has such a stigma on it, people don't want to admit this. Doctors don't want to admit this, especially in science and stuff. If you have a female psychological expert, female psychological experts commonly don't want to stigmatize their female patients with having NPD, even if they truly know that that female patient has NPD. They'll point it out as being something else. Oh, you're bipolar, or you have, conductivity disorder, or you have histrionic disorder. This happened as an example with Amber Heard during when she was being assessed by the psychological professional. The psychological professional who assessed her said she had bipolar disorder or borderline, or she had histrionic disorder. But Amber Heard does indeed have narcissistic personality disorder. Several narcissistic personality disorder experts on the network have tagged her with this. They've looked extensively. H.D. Tudor, who's one of the best experts on narcissistic personality disorder on the entire internet, did a whole series on Amber Heard where he basically explained bit by bit and used all the examples of what Amber has done during her trial with Johnny Depp and during other things that have gone on with her, that are basically prime examples of the fact that Amber Heard has narcissistic personality disorder. And she does. I can see narcissistic personality disorder in her. So the points here that I'm trying to make here is that when you have a person who has NPD, but they can't come out and openly admit it, or they do not see that they have NPD, you cannot work with that person. There is no way to work with an individual who cannot see what they have. I have individuals in my life right now where I can see they have NPD. They're guising it under other disorders that they have. I don't disagree with the disorders that they say that they have. but they also have NPD. And I myself, having studied NPD for years now, I can recognize this. Other people around me who are experts who have been subject to the evidence I have presented to them with the narcissistic individuals I have dealt with. These are other experts on the internet who are very well schooled as well too, probably even more well schooled than me. These individuals were able to see that my individuals do indeed present with narcissistic personality disorder just based on the evidence that I presented about these individuals. Now, if these individuals have narcissistic personality disorder and they're not able to admit this, how can you work with somebody? How can you overcome this? You can't. You cannot overcome this. These individuals cannot overcome things in their life if they're not addressing the issues that they have. They may think they have certain issues that go on. This may be true. I do agree with most of the situations that have happened with the narcissists that I've dealt with. But they're also not underlining the factor that these issues also carry NPD as a tag-along form with what's going on with them. Probably because they're not aware of this research. They're not aware of the things that I read and that I research constantly on narcissistic personality disorder. Or they're not willing to admit this simply because they don't want to be stigmatized for this. But this is indeed truly what's going on. So if you're trying to deal with a narcissist in this way, and you have a narcissist who will never admit what is going on with them, they don't want to seek help, they don't want to seek assistance for improvement, this can never work with a narcissist. You cannot have a relationship with a narcissist with these things going on. It isn't possible. It will not work. And this is part of what I wanted to try to explain here in this particular episode. When you're dealing with this, with a narcissist who has these things going on and cannot be aware or cannot admit to this, you cannot work with this person. Nothing can work with this narcissist until they address these problems and get control of these problems. And only in that instance can anything like that or any type of relationship with a narcissist function in possibly some healthy manner. So these are just the things I wanted to talk about briefly in episode 183, and whether or not something can work out with a narcissist or not. As I said in this episode, if the narcissist is not willing to address their problems or to even admit their problems and seek help, it cannot work with that narcissist. That narcissist is not out there to make things work. They're not trying to make things work. They're trying to pull the wool over your eyes, hide, function under the guise of something else that's going on. You can't make anything work out with a person like that if they're not coming at you in their own truth and within the truth of their situation. So this has been episode 183. I'm going to say to you guys, please stay tuned. I've got lots of other episodes coming up on the N.A.R.C.N network and also on the Unmasking the Narcissist channel. I'll see you guys really soon.